This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update, but I don't really care about the regular wrestling news today with the loss of a good friend of mine, one of my mentors in wrestling, along with Kevin Sullivan, who I was his mother mentor, superstar Billy Graham, who passed away last night after being in the hospital 4 months. And some of the wrestling stars that have come out giving their condolences were Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, thanking Billy for his influence on him. Paul Heyman basically saying performers in the WWE were known as professional wrestlers before superstar Billy Graham came along. He was the very first superstar. Jesse Ventura, who Billy Graham said in an interview with me is the protege he's most proud of. Of course, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Scott Steiner, they all modeled themselves after Billy in various ways. Hulk Hogan, the biggest. Jesse Ventura, the most successful, being Minnesota governor and a movie star. And he's the guy that actually got royalties for wrestlers in WWE too. He said there wouldn't be a Jesse Ventura without the in-ring success and trailblazing showmanship of Billy Graham. One of my proudest memories was being inducted into the Hall of Fame with Billy Graham. Rest in power. Dave Meltzer actually said Billy Graham is the one that got him interested in wrestling too. And Diamond Dallas Page, a guy that I like a lot, also paid his respects to Billy Graham. And I did a compilation video of wrestlers talking about Billy. Hulk Hogan hasn't said anything. Hulk Hogan, who basically stole Billy's gimmick. He should, out of all the lawsuits Billy was involved with, he really should have sued Hulk Hogan for gimmick infringement. That is a legitimate lawsuit he could have had. But I'm not gonna talk negatively. I will say one thing though, and Mario Mancini. I just did an interview with him. He was around a little bit during Billy Graham's 80s WWE run. We did a podcast talking about that, but we also talked about WWE put out a YouTube tribute video to Billy today, and I commend them on that. I don't take anything away from them on that, other than they said the WWE family is sad for the loss of Billy Graham. Well, you know what? Me and his Facebook guy Mike, through the various GoFundMe campaigns, have literally raised probably, I would say, $50,000 over the past numerous years for Billy's health issues. Where was this family when he needed it for medical payments? Like, where were they? They'll pay hundreds of thousands for Sonny's rehab and Scott Hall's rehab, but when a true icon needs medical help, they'll disappear. Granted, they did give him a payday for signing something like 10,000 autographs a couple of years ago. I do remember him telling me about that. He got something like $3 an autograph out of that. But for as much as he contributed, and Triple H, a multi-millionaire, inducting him in the Hall of Fame, where were you guys when he was fighting for his life, having to beg fans to pay for his hospital bills? But I do thank them for putting out a video, and I'm sure they're going to mention something on SmackDown. But I just find it funny that one of the biggest, most corporate entities out there call themselves a family, but whatever. A lot of people buy into it. But thank you, WWE, for honoring him. And as I said yesterday, Billy was a great friend to me. I've known him since 2011. I did about, including 2 or 3 audio interviews, I think I did 4 shoot interviews with him. And each time I did an interview with him, I spent time with him. I also went to the WrestleMania 2013 WrestleCon with him and helped him out for the 3 days of that. And it was at that WrestleCon where he actually had his last meeting with Hulk Hogan. And I remember setting that up. That wasn't a surprise or anything. Hulk Hogan agreed to that. Billy didn't think he would see him. But I remember I went up and I asked Hogan's security guards about it. They whispered to Hogan. I had recently talked to Hogan through Lanny Poffo, so he knew me a small bit at that time. And he agreed to the meeting. He gave Billy about 3 minutes of his time. And keep in mind, when nobody would book Hulk Hogan, Billy Graham was one of the ones that got him booked in Ron Fuller's territory because the Florida wrestlers didn't want a local in wrestling, which is one of the reasons why they originally had Hogan's leg broken. So Billy helped Hulk Hogan. He helped Ric Flair. Billy's first wife, Bunny, gave Flair his first dye job. I mean, great guy, and he helped me get on my hepatitis C treatment, my 36 weeks treatment through his doctors. Talked to me almost every day through the treatment, which was a very hard treatment to go through. Thank God there's new treatments. The one I was on was experimental, but he was with me every day. I looked at him as a grandfather type figure. I truly loved him. And yeah, I've been sad ever since I found out he was on life support. But at the same time, I mean, over the past 4 months, at various times, he's lost his hearing. He's been on kidney dialysis. He's been in extreme pain. He caught COVID at one point in time, couldn't even see his wife for a few weeks. So, I mean, as sad as I am to not have him as a friend anymore, I will always protect his legacy, and I'm glad that he's not in any more pain. The last couple times I talked to him was in December, and I remember for the Dark Side of the Ring, Abdullah the Butcher documentary that they're doing as part of the season 4. They wanted Billy Graham on that, but Billy in December, he even though it would have been a payday for him, he couldn't commit because even then he knew that his health was at a point that by the time they got there to film the Dark Side of the Ring, he might have been in the hospital. Like, he knew at that point. But because his health has been so up and down over the years, I mean, I didn't even take it that seriously. But now it's like he's actually gone. So, I mean, he was a great friend to me, and I did a video today of the paintings he did for me over the years, and just to hang out with the guy. I mean, his webmaster Mike met him for the first time hours before he passed. It's like Billy stayed alive to see his webmaster, talk to him. He passed message along to me. The webmaster said he actually smiled when he got this message from me. That really meant a lot to me. So I thank Mike for passing that along. But being around Billy, he's constantly cutting a promo. As you see him on TV, that's how he is in real life. He's at a restaurant cutting a promo to the waitresses. I mean, I went to there's a hospital appointment with him on one of my channels. Might be the Hannibal TV Fighting UFO video ones. I do have a second channel. But like, as he's sitting in the waiting room, he's cutting promos to people in the waiting room. He also wrote a bunch of my Hannibal promos for me, and some of them ended up getting tens of thousands of hits. The one that I did on AJ Styles before I beat AJ Styles 2 times in one night, Billy Graham wrote that promo for me. I believe he wrote the Dan Severn promo for me and the Rick Steiner promo for me. He did a lot for me. When I came back after being on a 3-year hiatus, he gave me the name The Death Dealer, and he told me to do my eyes the way I did them and come out with like a spike outfit, a look that Chris Jericho took after I did it. So, just a great guy, phenomenal guy, nothing but the best to say for him. And by the way, Ted Arcidi, who people might remember from the 80s, I believe at one point he donated like $5,000 to Billy's GoFundMe, and then just the other night he donated $300. So there's a friend. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair didn't donate a penny. I know Ric Flair is pretty much penniless now. He's lucky his daughter is. But I thank Ric Flair for saying a nice thing about Billy. But it's like, where's Jesse Ventura and all these guys when he really needed it? But nice of them to say good stuff. And I mean, what a great guy he was. I mean, he was grumpy sometimes towards the end. I mean, he was in a lot of pain, physical pain and health pain. And he never made all that much money in wrestling. So I can tell you guys, though, and this is the last thing I'll say, he's in the top 5 nicest wrestlers I ever met. And he did the ultimate nice thing for me, helping me get cured of Hep C when I had it. We had that Hep C connection. By the way, he wrestled Abdullah at least 9 times, too. I mean, I had the video of Abdullah sharing a blade with me, but guys like Billy Graham and Jacques Rougeau, who later went public about having Hep C. Luke Williams told me at one point he had Hep C too. They've all wrestled Abdullah. I mean, and I've seen Abdullah's records, but I mean, for those that think I'm the only one that really went public about it and had the proof. But thank you, Billy, for everything. And I'm so happy to have had you as a friend. You were an amazing friend to me.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for